Hello, this is Mark, Keene, and Mario. And Mario's been with me for probably close to 45 years, maybe a little longer. He grew up here. And he's going to show us how to put the cloth on a 151 dry washer. You could have it on a 151S or an older school 151. Right now he's going to install the silkscreen. So you can see what he's doing here. He's taking his, we're putting some little aluminum strips along the sides. And he's going to, how far is that from the top? About a ½ inch? Okay, that looks like more like about an inch or so. And you could even do some your own cardboard cutouts if you wanted to. It wouldn't be a problem. And we have a jig here, but you could do this with a piece of cardboard as well. And just be a little careful. And this just allows him to get the glue directly on the bottom of the riffles. And we use typically a spray. Go ahead, Mario. We use a spray called I think it's a 3M77 spray. Or no, I think it's a 3M. Let me see the can, Mario. Let me get that. It's a 3M90 spray. Okay. And again, you could do this yourself just by have a little piece of cardboard on both sides of the riffle. You don't really want to coat the bottom of the riffle. Not that it's going to hurt anything, but you can see he did a nice job just on the top. Not too much overspray. And he walks around, he sprays the edges. Looks like he puts a pretty generous coat. Yeah, he does put a lot on there, I guess. You notice he's wearing a mask, safety mask all the time. And it's a good idea to have, glasses in case you get any overspray. You don't want to get it on your in your eyes or anything. Now, what he does almost like a pencil lead or or somewhere in that ballpark space. A bead all the way around or down each riffle, and this adhesive is called E6000. Now E6000 would work, shoe goo would work, goop would work. There's a lot of different formulas that actually would do the job. And he makes it look easy, but I've done this a few times and it takes a little practice. It's not as easy as it looks. So he's got the cloth, and this is the part that I think I had trouble with. I had two people, but he can do it by himself. Now the material we use on this thing is actually, it's a true silkscreen. I think it's like between 160 and 180 mesh typically. But it's a very tough cloth. Tougher than most cloths. It's actually constructed out of a polyester, but it's a very precise opening, which works really good for your recovery. And so now he starts to pull it and tighten it, because now the contact cement, not the E6000, is setting up, starting to hold things in place. And that's why it's important that you do use that 3M adhesive glue. And you can't, if you're out of the state of California, you don't have that low VOC stuff, it works fine. You can use the 77. But here, because we have a low VOC, we have to use the 90 spray. But it is important to have the right adhesive. And he's going to tug and pull on this thing just for a couple minutes. He's only into it for about 4 minutes right now. And you can see he's running a little, sealing up the bottom. And he has gloves, obviously. So he just trims off the corners. Pretty simple. Oh, you make it look so easy. And he's got a little 90-degree piece of aluminum that he uses to trim it with. And like I said, you can tell he's done this a few thousand times. Well, I bet you probably built 5,000 of these in your lifetime, maybe 10,000. Yeah, he makes it look easy, like I said, and that's basically how you put your cloth on. And then you put your other layers on, and pretty cool. All right, so you can see now he's putting on the next layer. You got the silkscreen on the bottom. You got a Buna. This is your Buna rubber material right here. This is your Lexan plastic there. And again, he builds these things all day long. Pretty labor intensive to build these 151Ss. So I didn't know this, but he's actually using standard silicone too. There's a little gap under the riffles, and he just seals them off, and he seals the screw caps. I guess the reason he does that is, see, when you got the screws coming through it, you don't want it sharp, and the silicone holds its shape better than the E6000. The E6000, which we're going to use in a moment, that's a self-leveling material. The silicone kind of stays at whatever shape you squeeze it out as. All right. Again, he's done this probably 1,000 times. Yeah, let's do the glue. Okay, so now what he's going to do, he's all set up for it. Cool. He's now going to switch over to his E6000, and he puts in a thin bead. Let's see if I can get a picture of this. Yeah, I think he puts in about 2 beads each, and we let it settle for about 5 minutes, and he goes back and does something different. And then after it settles, any bubbles will come to the surface. And again, these guys that do this all day long, they can do this in their sleep. Anybody else is just going to take their time doing it. All right, so we waited about 10 minutes or so, and he's putting a second layer in. And again, the reason for this, the first one fills in the lower gap, and any bubbles that are in there, the bubbles will come to the surface, and this will cover the bubbles or fill the bubbles in. And like I said, if UI did this, it would probably take us a lot longer. Okay, so he's done here now. So we've got our 2 layers on the 151S ripple board. And you can see both sides are done. It's all screwed down. You got your Lexan, your Buna rubber, your silkscreen, and that's all glued down. You saw Mario do that first. And then here he's got his 2 layers. You put the first layer in, let it sit about 10 minutes or so, and then he put the second layer in, and that smooths it out. We let it sit like this, and then they go over to here, sitting on the ground like that. And what that does, it allows the adhesive to settle for a couple hours. It doesn't really set up, so you really don't want to use the dry wash until the next day. Okay, I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any questions, give us a holler.